about the
reflection token.
Some of us are plebs. Come on, teach.
Teach. So do you want to go, Axel, or should
I? So I can like start off a little bit. Start off, and then you pick up the crumbs. Correct me. Now, if you have Zen, what kind of incentives can we create in order to burn Zen or whatever? You need to, in order for you to burn Zen, it needs to be done into something that's going to be worth more. So with reflection, we can create something that, let's say we create a new token which has a limited supply of, let's say, 100 million, and then you create, you're also using the fact that you have many other users that could compete with each other. So let's say the issuance of these 100 million tokens would be split up. So you had you would incentivize early adoption. So you would have, for instance, 5 million that would be issued the first month. And the only way to get those tokens would be to burn Zen. And if we are 2 people who burn Zen, I burn 2 billion Zen and Jack burns 1 billion Zen, then I would get 60%, 66%, 2/3 of that issuance that month.
So you get 2 shares, I get 1 share.
Exactly. And then the next month you would have, so the first month would be like, say, 5 million. The next month it could be 4,900,000 or something smaller. So it would be increasingly going smaller and smaller and smaller. So you're incentivized to do this earlier on, because in month 50 or whatever, there might just be like 700,000 left or something. That more people. So the longer adoption spreads and the longer it takes, the more people would be competing for the same amount of limited tokens. So that's one thing. But then you could also, from that, create other kinds of incentives. So to like, how do you incentivize people then to have this, to get this limited token, but also to stay in that limited token? And this is where reflection comes in, because you could be faced with like 2 scenarios here, where you could either get the token and like sell it after you have it, or you could be given an incentive to keep it. Whereas if you stake it, you would earn like more. So you could take part of the burning that goes on with the Zen initially, and then use that as distribution for the stakers as the yield.
So let's cover the 3 major points right here with the new token. So a reflection token, number 1, it's capped, so 100 million in total and no more than 100 million. And the emission happens every 30 days, and it's a declining emission, which means we have, and also obviously the time is limited too. So the time would be 5 years. 5 years is 60 months. Every month we would emit, or the contract would emit, a declining number of tokens. So 5 million the first month, 4,900,000 the next, 4 million, 4.8, 4.7, 4.6, until it goes all the way down to 1, essentially. So on the month number 60, the emission is done. That's it. No more emissions, and the supply is capped. Now, that's number 1 item in the tokenomics.
100 million?
100 million cap. 5 years, emissions. Every month, emissions are declining by some percentage point. So it could be like 3%, could be 5%. So every month, there's less and less to be produced. Now, that's the production aspect. Now, how can we make people compete to get those tokens? So what they can do is they can compete by burning Zen. So if 3 of us are within the ecosystem, and there's only 3 of us, and each one of us have Zen, then we can compete with each other for the monthly emissions. So Zen TZU could be burning 2 billion, I'm burning 1 billion, and Jimrad is burning half a billion, which means that Zen TZU gets 2 shares, I get 1 share, and Jimrad gets half a share. Now, Jimrad may say, wait a second, those guys are getting the most, and I'm getting the least. You're gonna feel like adding to the burn, at least to make it equal in terms of shares.
Make it reflexive.
So yeah, reflexive. So we would encourage people to compete with their burn, and we will show a dashboard, a leaderboard, who is burning the most and what the ratios of the distribution for the first month. So the 3 of us, if there's only 3 of us playing, we're going to end up competing who burns the most and who gets the most of the new token. So that's great for Zen, because Zen becomes even more deflationary, and we're competing based on our holdings of Zen. Now, let's say that for the sake of argument, now we have equalized our shares. We have decided to burn 2 billion each, and now we have a 33% each coming from this 5 million emission on the first month. So we're splitting the pie by 3 equal shares. Now here's the interesting part, and that's where the reflection comes from. So Zen TZU decides to mint and to put the new token in his wallet. Jimrad does the same thing. What I will do, I will not mint, I will stake the new token for a year. So when I stake my token and I don't drop it in my wallet, I get extra 10% that you guys are actually will be paying me. So for not having the delayed gratification, your reward is less, and I get more reward through a reflection of your action. So specifically, if you grab the tokens, you actually will end up leaving some on the table for me. So even though the pie chart was equal, 33% each, now you guys are taking 30% back, and you're leaving 3% each for me. So in my case, if I keep it staked and I don't grab it, I get extra 6%. So I was at 33%. Now I get 6% more. And now by not grabbing everything right away, by not minting it right away, by staking it for a long period of time, I get this extra bonus, extra 6%. So that's where the reflection comes from, user action. Now, if all of us stake, then we remain at 33% each. But but now imagine this is millions of people playing, and a lot of people are like, I just want to mint and sell. They're gonna mint and sell, but they're gonna leave this extra bonus percentages on the table that will be distributed to the stakers. So that will allow the yield to be generated by people who are delaying gratification, who are staking for a long time, who are locking in the new token, and actually getting yield. So anybody who holds new token in the contract staked will be generating yield from all the degens that they just want to dump it on the market. So the incentives will be such as that the not only token is capped, but also at the same time has the yield that is getting paid by all the people who are leaving the network. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, Jack. It makes a lot of sense, but I'm wondering, why are you trolling everyone so hard with all of these awesome incentives with the first principle? It's like, it's almost, this is just how I see it. It's like, I guess you have a good situation and you know how to do a lot of this blockchain stuff. And we see a lot of people asking for so much money and then waiting. And I'm not pointing anyone out in particular. To be honest, you see this all over the place. This is not new. But as so much money is transferred and so much, And now you're doing this reflexive token. So guys like me, you know what guys like me were thinking? We thought we were cute. We thought we could stay and use that price appreciation and just sell some of our bag. But now I'm like, damn, I could use my bag. And this is how it comes into play as a user. Now I'm thinking, God, okay, well, I'll take that portion of my bag. Maybe I should add that extra incentive. It's just another incentive.
So
yeah, but let's not forget, like the whole, everything that's built on this builds utility for Zen, in that you need to burn Zen in order to participate, right? So you could just like keep Zen, or you could like find something that's appealing within this for you to
or you could
participate in this as well.
I try to do all of it.
So here's the end result. If Zen is cash, the new token is something that you stake for a long time and you get yield. It's kind of like a bond that gets reflection from all other players, millions of players. They're paying you by not staking. So you can convert Zen to a yield generating asset, digital asset that burns Zen, so makes Zen obviously more scarce. But this new project, this new token will embed the scarcity and the benefits to the people who are forced not to sell because they're staking. They're forced. I mean, they're not forced. They would say like, listen, I have burned 20 billion Zen on this. I am not dumping it. I'm holding it because I'm getting yield every month. So every month when the emissions happen, all of the people, and this actually comes with the 20/80 rule. Are we familiar with the 20/80 Pareto distribution? So let's say that 20% of people are smart and 80% of people are not so smart. They just want to exit. So those people who are exiting are paying the 20% who are holding. So converting Zen to a yield-bearing digital asset in the form of a new token is a vertical derivative on top of the Zen's ecosystem that helps people who are holding Zen too, because if those people are not participating and they're just holding Zen, and Zen is getting burned by this new protocol, this new token, they get benefit too, because it's just not as much benefit. But this is what's coming. This is what's coming.
Right,
Things like that is what we're creating.
It's very exciting. Yeah, so it's like a token distribution model again, where you have to compete for the allocations. You have to be incentivized to burn Zen in order to do so. And at the time of mint, so to speak, you're given basically two options: to either mint it and but then pay like sort of a 10% penalty distributed to stakers as yield, or you stake it for like minimum a year or something. So then you're acquiring that yield.
So you can call it penalty, or you can call it less of a reward for yourself. And people who are following the proper behavior, making the holding the new token close, they get a benefit every month. Now this is 60-month project would have been, or the tokenomics would indicate that there's at least 60 events that will pay you the yield, right? So if you hold it for the whole 60-month period, you're collecting yield through the community participation and the community action of this economic outcome, technically.
Okay, let me say something. Jack, you move quick, bro. And that's all I got to say about that. Two, I want to know, what have you seen these? What does this compare to the most? It reminds me of V2 liquidity providing with some different verbiage and some different software. It's almost to a degree like, let's say I have Binance and BNBP. Yeah, I could put all my BNBP into the liquidity pool and I could earn fees on that while people trade and just lose their fee. They're technically getting that worse end of that deal, I guess. But it's just another way to earn yield on your tokens, correct?
Exactly.
I would say, first of all, like all of this is also built on first principles, right? So there's no pre-mine or anything. It's all transparent. So all of those creations that are being built will follow these principles. So that's like the first game-changing thing.
Yeah, for sure. Like the base layer allows this to be happen really properly.
The base layer, but also the new dApps that are or protocols built on top. Like for
No, but I mean,
success,
like
they
the
should
base
follow
layer
those
being
principles.
fairly distributed even allows anything else to be fairly distributed. Like the fact that this part is fairly distributed means everything else. Yes, of course, you can make centralized loops and stuff, but those things won't be popular. Let's hope. What'll be more popular if this thing's that takes on the first principles. But I wanted to get back to one thing, another way to earn interest, because to be honest, all my people, you might not, Zen Tzu, you might not know my peoples. My peoples love yield and staking and sitting and not really paying it. Not, you know, they like the fact that they'll have the crypto in a few years from now and they can earn a little bit on it. And it's more of a financial tool for them. So, Jack, we were just getting into it's another way to earn interest. And is that basically this is another avenue to earn interest instead of incentivizing people to do one thing potentially more than the thing we wouldn't want everyone to be doing, which is constantly dumping, which is one of the biggest problems with every crypto.
Yeah, I mean, we want to pay people with, or rather, we want to create a contract, smart contract that pays people for not dumping anything, and therefore benefiting the holders. But we also want people to compete by burning Zen. So the competition of people burning Zen within this new protocol allows the most Zen to be burned. So the more Zen you burn, the more shares you get. And if you have the most shares, you get the more of the new token. And then if you stake the new token, you just get yield from all of that action, which is, I would say, pretty great. So again, if Zen is cash, then this is more like a bond. A bond is an instrument that pays you back if you hold it the longest.
I totally get it because all the cryptos that I have dealt with use some of these loops, and this is where people are building. Though it's funny to watch Jack just completely annihilate through all this. That I've watched people do this stuff for months and months and months and months and months and months and months on end. Some of them are pretty good, but still, that centralized aspect of it really takes away from some of the long-term scaling ability, in my opinion. So I have a thing right here, Jack. And this, you know, who is this guy? This guy, I like this guy. I like this guy.
That's Joseph.
This guy's a data nerd. He's looking on chain and he's studying everything. So he's in one of our developers in the developer group on the Telegram chat.